Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The LEC and LCK announced changes to the upcoming format, which is coming to, of course, every region because of the change of the global format in terms of the new international tournament being added after winter. So basically, everyone's going to their own variant of the 3-split system. And Riot Games now in the LEC wanted to make changes because people got sick and tired and bored of the damn repetition and the uselessness of each title. So, of course, they are launching changes. Let's take a look at those changes. I will give my feedback on what I think after we have had that broken down to us by Dracos here.
Format to you. Strap in for some graphics, brackets, numbers, all that fun stuff, because at the end of this, you're going to know all about...
I like that they made them look like Canadian, like in South Park.
The 2025 season. As Max highlighted, in 2025, we are moving to a 3-split structure. This means we're going to have winter, spring, and summer splits with no more season finals.
Damn.
This aligns with the 3 in-game ranked seasons that were announced earlier.
So no season finals. Okay. So I assume
the LEC in your adventures
we're going to have more room in maybe spring or winter or summer to do something.
Now, every split will offer up high stakes with the LEC trophy and qualification for the next international event.
Okay.
That means that one bad split might knock you out of contention, while the next will offer a clean slate to secure a title and represent EMEA on the international stage.
So no points, no championship points. It seems like we're not going to have championship points. That's the only way this makes sense, unless there's like a gauntlet at the end of everything. Which I kind of like the gauntlet system. I like the gauntlet at the end because the teams that play against each other fight for the spots. So we don't have like a Mad Lion situation where they beat G2 to qualify and don't play against BDS to qualify, as an example.
Here in the first international event, the winter split will remain really similar to the previous format, except for the introduction of Fearless Draft.
Damn.
Ooh, that's right. All matches during winter playoffs will be using Fearless Draft. More details on that soon.
The main question is it hard Fearless or not? Because keep in mind, even though it's Fearless, if the format remains the same, for the majority of it, Fearless doesn't matter because it's BO1s. So I don't know how impactful it is actually going to be because you play BO1s, while other regions, for example, LP and LCK, get a lot more volume in Fearless Draft because obviously it's a very specific set of skills that you need to practice, and having more volume on that is going to be a lot more helpful. And teams that do well, let's say they win 2 best-of-3s, and then they qualify to, of course, the final playoff bracket, there is a chance where you play simply, just 2 best-of-3s, then a qualifying BO5, and then a BO5, and that's very little volume for a team that could be qualifying, right?
Yeah. First up, we'll have a 3-week single round robin featuring best-of-1 series. The top 8 teams will progress to a double elimination playoff bracket consisting of both best-of-3 and best-of-5 series.
Exactly the same as best-of-3. All right, it's basically the same as before. It's exactly the same as before, but it's presented in a way that it's different, right? It's basically, if you win 2 best-of-3s straight, you play a BO5 to qualify for the final, and you get basically, if you win 2 best-of-3s, your top 3 already secured, and then you play for the final spot, right? And then you have the losers. Basically, if you lose 2 best-of-3s, you're out. If you win 2 best-of-3s, you're then qualified to the BO5s, which is, of course, the gauntlet that we usually see, that we see down here, right? 2 best-of-3 wins, 2 zeros, fight against each other, best-of-5, and then they are going to be a third minimum, where they are waiting for the last 2 teams to qualify, who will play each other, of course, in the best-of-5. This is loser of match 11, exactly the same as before.
The LEC Winter Split Final will then crown our first LEC Champion of the Year, and we'll see the winner go on to compete in the all-new international event.
Just to loop everybody in, because I don't think they're going to talk about it here, basically, we have details already on the international event, and basically, there's going to be 1 team from each major region, and there is currently 5 major regions because they have merged the Asia, I think it's called Asia Pacific, like APAC region, like basically like Japan, PCS, and so forth. They have merged into 1 region, and then of course it's the usual with the EULCS, LCS, and like Americas. Like there is no more minor regions. Pretty much everything has been merged together. So there's going to be 5 teams.
Winter, mostly the same.
Similar to the old MSI.
First LEC title of the year and new international competition.
All right.
Got it?
Yeah.
Next up, Spring Split. The Spring Split will see us introduce more best of 3s to the LEC, which we know is something that you've been eager to see us experiment with.
All right, best of 3s, hype.
Spring Split will be a 7-week regular season.
7 week.
All LEC teams play 9 best of 3s against all other teams in the league.
All right.
6 teams
I like
will
it.
qualify for playoffs.
I like
playoffs
it.
will again feature a double elimination bracket with no Fearless, and will crown our second champion of the year as we feature.
Ooh, bro, this is just the old school. This is just the old school format, best of 3s. Like if we equated to the double round robin format with double elimination, this is just the old playoff system.
Bracket with no Fearless.
All right.
We'll crown our second champion of the year as well as offer both finalists a spot at MSI.
Boom.
So, Spring, more BO3, hype, and 2 seeds at MSI. Got it?
Got it.
To round it out, Summer Split. Summer will continue to offer up more best of 3s, but we're opting for something a little different for the regular season format.
What are the mushrooms?
This time we're splitting 10 LEC teams into 2 groups, with each team playing 4 best of 3 series matches. The top 2 teams of each group will then advance to playoffs, with the 5th place teams being eliminated and the 3rd and 4th place teams playing across groups for the final 2 spots.
Whoa. This is for Worlds. This is for Worlds, guys. If, let's say, you play MSI, you go a long way, and then you have to play this very quickly, and you're lagging behind, I guess there's a lot of leeway, right? I just wonder what happens in tiebreak scenarios, but there is, of course, like head-to-head, and then there's scores, because you can win 2-0, 2-1, and so forth, so that maybe tiebreak is going to be very, very rare, but this looks scary to me at first glance.
See 6 teams compete against each other in another double elimination best of 5 bracket to determine the winner of the final split of the year and which 3 teams will be representing EMEA at Worlds.
Wow.
The LEC Summer Finals will take place as a roadshow at the end of the summer split, with the location and venue set to be revealed early next year. So stay tuned. TM. For summer, BO3s, BO5s, 2 groups, the final LEC champ of the year, a finals roadshow, and the top 3 teams go to Worlds.
Whoa.
Simple, right? Okay, to summarize, winter, very much the same, but Fearless and a new international tournament. Spring, more BO3s and 2 seeds at MSI. Summer, even more BO3s, a roadshow, and qualification to Worlds, baby. Whew, that's a lot of information. But I hope this gives you a good idea of what the 2025 LEC season has in store for you. The winter split kicks off on January 18th. We'll see you there.
All right. What is the news article? More info. Because the main thing that we need to figure out here and understand is, do we, what are we finding here? The LEC was 3 split format. Each split would boast a unique format. Fearless Draft will feature in winter with more best of 3s, introduce spring and summer. Every split will crown an LEC champion. The LEC Roadshow will take place. We're partnering with teams to pilot bringing the LEC to fans locally during spring split. All right, this is a detail that wasn't mentioned in the video. Almost all matches we played on the latest patch. That is also crazy unique. And then championship points and season finals have been removed. So basically, we partner with teams to pilot, bringing the LEC fans to locally during spring split. I think this is really, really good. Like they really need to leverage how big KC is. They need to leverage how big like Mad Lions is. And they should create an incentive structure for these teams that are so massive to host their own events and to really utilize this. Because keep in mind, when I played the LCS back in season 3, the first match I got subbed in to play was in Lille. I played regular season games in front of a massive audience in a wooden arena. I think it was called the Zenith. I was playing against Moscow 5. It was amazing. I think for me to lose that magic of the cost of making those events in a lot of cases, I think that those memories create fans for a lifetime. And I think that there are circumstances where companies like Riot and other companies too, they can't see the just because there's no short-term benefit, they don't see the long-term benefit. Because look at what KC has built, right? It's like the atmospheres that they've built up and the ambience and the fandom. This is something that carries over and brings a tremendous amount of value over time. So I'm very happy that this is going to be a thing. I'm very happy about that. Championship points and season finals have been removed. This is very scary in the context of what we have with the summer split, right? Very scary. I understand I think the championship points were silly in the context of season finals itself. But I think if they had a regional gauntlet at the end of it all, a regional one to maybe qualify for the last world spot, I think that would be like more fair. Like, let's say it's just a 4-day bracket, like 4-day, they play best of fives, boom, like they do in other regions, LPL or LCK, because now with this format, you know, a concern of mine is like the strength of teams is really, really lopsided. It can really, really shift. So the strength of these groups can definitely be quite random. Because obviously we've seen this many, many times in the LEC where power levels shift and team dynamics shift, especially when you have the new introduction of the fact that patches are going to be, you know, almost all matches will be played on latest patch, which probably means that playoffs aspects, similar to LCS, is going to be played on the same patch, but it will start on the patch that is the most recent. I hope that is going to be the case, right? Because otherwise, you know, you're going to be at a significant disadvantage when it comes to international events, because I hope this is not something that they're going to do in the LCK, LPL, and of course international, because if they did this for Worlds, it would be so stupid. All right. So winter split, I like the fact that we have fearless draft, but I don't like the idea that, you know, we are still playing the BO1s. I don't know what is the best elegant solution for that when you have 10 teams and you need to put it in the span of 6 weeks, because the first international event is right there and you have to start at 18th January. I don't know what is the most elegant solution to that in, of course, a world where you play, you know, like in a world where you can't seed the teams because everything is lopsided and you have 10 teams and you don't have time to play a certain amount of best of threes. I don't know if you could do something similar to, let's say, a Swiss format, but also with 10 teams. This is something that is super, super awkward too, because after one map you are uneven, right? It's like you need a certain amount of teams to be able to pull that through. So even though I don't like the BO1s and the Super Week and the BO1s and so forth, I don't think, like, I can't offer a different solution, so I can't really complain because I understand the time constraint of 6 weeks. I don't know if they could make this crazy enough where if you play certain champions in a BO1, it carries over to the next one. That would be completely ballistic crazy. But that's obviously not going to happen because it would be too much of a shocker, you know, and too unique. Even though I would think it's super, super cool where each match carries over and you're walking into the 9th game of the BO1 split and you're playing there and you have 45 champions banned for yourself and you have to figure out a draft where basically, imagine you play one Super Week, you play 3 games, and then you have to practice completely different champs coming into the next week because you have those champs banned for yourself, which would create such unique and fun dynamics, but a little bit too extravagant, I imagine. Spring split, yeah, I like this. I think, you know, the idea of eliminating teams so early, I think the argument for eliminating teams early, I think it's an argument for, it's basically, it's so good to remove shitters early on in the season, but the truth is, we need less shitters. Yeah, that's the truth, plain and simple. We just need less teams that are boring and uninteresting. So I think it just solves like the symptom of a problem that is more important to address than anything else. But nevertheless, I like this. Only six teams qualifying, I think, is also good. Makes the playoff bracket a little bit more compact and the teams that deserve it. You know, it makes the games actually meaningful because being bottom 4, of course, is very significant and only 6 teams qualify for playoffs. This is very old school. As an old school man, I like this type of a format, and I like the fact that it offers opportunities for teams to do something unique. I think my main criticism or my main worry about this format is this. I think that sometimes it's going to be difficult to determine the right seeding because things can change from patch to patch. And there is a world where one group is way more stacked than the other. And I think that can be a cause for concern. Additionally, schedule-wise, when it comes to 2 teams, number 1 and number 2 going to MSI, I don't know how much time they will have to recover and to prepare for this, because in the end, this, of course, is a very, very big decider. I repeat here that 6 teams qualify to playoffs, and basically you have teams here, do the cross-play decider where number 3 plays number 4 from the opposite group, and basically only 6 teams make it into the playoff bracket. I think here there could have been room to make one world spot be tied to, of course, the regionals, which I think could be interesting, but I understand why they removed it. I think that tying the regional finals that we had before to the championship points was very, very strange, and I think this is something that was disliked. So I think this does indeed almost guarantee that you're going to send your best teams to the event, but there's still a world where you qualify by beating, let's say your group is easy, and then you make it in to the top, where you are already, at the top, and then you are playing, I'm not so sure about how that is going to look like. I just want to clarify here in this match, team number 3, team number 4, team number 1, team number 2. I want to clarify here what that actually means. I think it's just, let me clarify what that actually means. Summer split. The top 8 teams will then advance from groups, with top 2 teams from each group advance directly to playoffs. The 3rd and 4th place teams from each group will then cross-play in best of 3 to decider. The player bracket will then see top 6 teams compete against each other in another double elimination, best of 5 bracket, to determine the winner of the final split of the year, as well as which team will represent the AMA. I'm just trying to understand here in the first round of the upper, who is actually like team number 1, team number 2, team number 3, and team number 4. I'm trying to understand. I guess the idea is that these teams, I'm trying to understand who plays against who, because I imagine that whoever, I don't understand who plays here in the first round, because it has to be the top 4 teams that qualify are in the upper bracket. The final teams that qualify are in the lower bracket, 1 life. And I assume then that 1 plays against 2 and 1 plays against 2, right? That's the only way that makes sense. So it has to be like that. I think just the numbering is confusing because it doesn't tie together to this either, right? But it has to be like that. There's no other way that match 3 is going to be played differently. Okay, so that's my main concern. I think this one, if you really, really want to make sure that you send the best teams no matter what, is that the 3rd slot is just a regional gauntlet. I think that would be like a guarantee, but either way, I do think that this is a positive change. I think the arguments for this format are all poor, and I wonder if there's something that they can do in terms of the scheduling when it comes to, of course, the setup. I want to take a look at the LCK format change too, because I'm curious how they're going to structure the tournament, because maybe that's the best thing you can do too, because BO1s, I think BO1s are just inherently terrible. Let's take a look at the LCK changes as well. Timestamp 1830. All right, major changes coming to the 2025 LCK. The LCK Cup featuring Fearless Draft, a single LCK season with 5 rounds. New selection methods for the international tournaments. All right, so new LCK format. The previous one was very simple. LCK Spring, qualify to MSI. LCK Summer, go to Worlds. Now we have LCK Cup, moving into first international event, which is not tied to the LCK regular season. We have round 1 and 2 here, moving into MSI qualifiers. Let's see what the MSI qualifiers are. Maybe some kind of BO5 tournament mid-split. I think that would be cool. That's something that I suggested too when I talked about it, where in the formats where you have double round robins, just after one round robin finishes, that's where you can have qualifiers and then just continue and carry on. But being behind in this system, in this type of a LCK regular season, you could really be screwed over early on in the season. Like there could be, similar as in football, where you have a year-long season, you're going to have teams that are just too far behind, and a lot of things in such a regular season is going to be predetermined. This could create a circumstance where the LCK regular season will become redundant after the MSI qualifiers, because everything is going to be decided rather early on. All right. The regular season will be conducted as a single season with only one team being crowned the LCK champion. Before the regular season, the all-new LCK Cup, tentative name, will take place as the first event of 2025. It will be an opportunity to see how pro players interpret the various changes that were made. The winners of the LCK Cup will qualify for the new international tournament. All right, let's take a look. What do we have? The LCK regular season, LCK Cup. So first, previous season, FA. The LCK Cup will be in group battle format. The top 2 teams from the previous season will each select a team of their choice. The chosen teams will then continue to process to complete the groups. So here it will be Gen.G and How Alive. Keep in mind, T1 was 4th seed coming into the World Championship, and How Alive won Summer Split. And then, of course, Gen.G would be 2nd, so they would choose. This is just a question, being able to pick first here in the group is kind of broken, because you can then not, you basically, you give the enemy T1. That's what this is going to be, right? You give the enemy T1 and that's it. Of course, there might be some more interesting teams that might come in if Scout comes back to Korea, if Ruler comes back to Korea, and of course Kanavi too. There could be some more interesting teams, but that's the first inclination that, Group A is like, take T1, Group 2. The LCK group will be in battle group format. The top can't even talk. The top 2 teams from the previous season will each select a team of their choice. The LCK Cup and the first international tournament will feature Fearless Draft. Champions picked from the previous game will be banned in the next game. So in the 5th game of 5, a total of 50 champions will be banned. 10 regular bans plus 40 from previous games. That is hardcore Fearless. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Here I'm trying to figure out, what this looks like. Trying to look how this looks like, because we have groups. Is it just then going to be similar to Worlds groups, where they play all against each other one time in best of 3s and then a playoff bracket? They don't really elaborate on that here. LCK regular season, round 1, 2. Rounds 1 and 2 will follow the same double round robin format. So they are pushing a lot of best of 3s. A lot of best of 3s. Okay, so LCK round 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. MSI qualifiers. So top 6 MSI qualifiers. Top 6 teams will move on to the MSI qualifier, the LCK road to MSI. Round 3 to 5, you have after MSI, rounds 3, 4, and 5 will begin. Teams will be divided into 2 groups, the Legend group and the Rise group, based on standings of rounds 1 and 2. That is beautiful. I really liked it in the LPO, and I think it's a beautiful solution to the problem that I mentioned before, where if you played a regular season, it would be completely redundant. So I really like this Legend group and Rise group separation, because we want to see more Gen.G versus T1 and How Alive versus T1. We want to see a lot more of that. So each group will compete separately for the remainder of the regular season without facing teams from the other group. After round 5, the Legend group's 5th place and top 3 Rise group teams will compete in the play-ins for the LCK playoff spots, leading to the final battle to be the LCK champion. So playoff round 2 and then playoff round 1, so auto qualifier and then play-ins Rise. Let's see the final here. Also focus on preparing for the restructure. The global law esports will introduce various changes to ensure financial sustainability, new international tournament integration of Americas and APAC leagues respectively, adjustment of schedule for all regional leagues. We want to consider ways to align with these changes while still giving the league its own identity. We aim to maximize the number of matches as much as possible, focusing on increasing the match count for mid to lower standing teams. A single season will lead to a longer tournament period, wouldn't lead to decrease in interest. Previously, the excitement that built up during each final was rest with the start of the next split. The 2025 LCK will have one season champion, the excitement up through the entire season. To compensate the potential decrease in interest, a separate MSI quality was established, and the formats from round 1 and 2 and round 3 and 5 were differentiated. Detailed information can be found on the LCK YouTube channel, lolesports.com. All right. Yeah, my main question is, how does the LCK Cup format work? I imagine it's single round robin. And then should we assume that, like round 1 and 2, they said this is now double round robin. Should we should we then assume round 3 to 5 is just a triple round robin? Because that's a lot of games. But at the same time, a lot of cool ass games. And you have more room to do these because obviously there's 10 teams in the LCK and the LPL had 17 teams. So if there's a world where we get to see in the Legend group the 5 teams, it should be a triple round robin, right? I think that's what makes sense considering you have 5 teams, right? 5 teams, a triple round robin. I think that's so much volume. And we get to see the cool ass matchups. That's really hype. Bro, if we get Genji versus T1 and How Alive versus T1 and all these matchups, and we get this, super cool. My only concern about this is, like, let's say a team starts off weak. That determines your whole year in a way. Imagine you start weak and your spring split or like your winter split, so called, is not the greatest. You're just gonna be in the slums for a very long time. Like, not all teams begin equally, and some teams maybe need time to gel. And there's going to be a world where maybe one of our favorite teams is going to be in Rise. Imagine, let's say T1 don't do well in winter. You know, they've had splits where they don't do well. Let's say they don't do well in winter. They miss out, like on the MSI qualifier. Let's say they don't do well. And then we just have T1 with Nongshim and Kwangdong Freaks, you know. It would be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy. I think that's the only concern about this, is that if you start slow and one of the greater teams that over time should be one of the best ones, I think that this could really ruin the benefit of the Legend versus Rise group and turn into garbage. That's like the main concern for me here. But I think that the LCK Cup, I like that a lot more than the LEC changes, like the LEC Winter Split. I think that it would be really cool if we had the LEC Cup, and they would follow a similar format. I think that's way cooler than the BO1s. Because in the end, it's like, we're supposed to be hyped about Fearless, and half of the format is in BO1s. And they're not going to do the change that I suggested. So those are my initial thoughts about the format. Let me know what you guys think in the conversation below. Finally, just because LCK have hard Fearless, we're just going to assume this is hard Fearless too in the playoff bracket. So that's super cool. I like that. Hard Fearless is super cool. I like that. You know, in the past when we had like blind pick in game 5 in the LCK, that shit was hype as fuck too. We want to have, unique scenarios be played out always, because sometimes the narratives are not going to deliver that. You know, we've been very lucky in League of Legends with the DRX runs and the T1 runs and so forth, but sometimes you need your format to also give you a little push in an exciting direction. So I like it. I think these are solid changes in my opinion, but yeah, still hate this. I think the LCK Cup is way cooler. They should just fucking copy that, man. Why are we doing BO1 still? It's ass. Hate it. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace, love, and understanding. Bye-bye.